So we're standing for the Dollar Tree, and basically,
such as this thing here.
All right, I'm excited to have a guest.
Metal right here, of course, everyone is.
Cuba is like they're under a dictator.
RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Wednesday night edition of the People's Talk Show. Excited to be back. Looking forward to connecting and want to find out what's on your radar. And so I have 3 or 4 subjects here that caught my attention and want to bring it to you. And then also find out what you guys keeping an eye on. I hope everyone is doing well. As always, really give it a minute before I begin ranting into some articles. Make sure the algorithms kick in and people are notified. But for those who are here, definitely let me know where you're watching from. Would love to welcome you to the community. And if you have not, definitely hit that thumbs up button. Hopefully more people are notified so we can make this a actual talk show for the people. Man, what an interesting day to say the least. I've watched several videos from a lot of my favorite content creators, as well as people I've partnered with throughout the years just to get their professional take as well as opinions. And boy, there's not much good news out here in reference to all the issues happening in the global debt market, to say the least. But lots of things to pay attention to. But more importantly, if you've been plugged in, you know where we're at, where we're heading, and definitely how to brace for impact as the as a pressure mounts on sovereign governments, because we're facing a sovereign debt crisis that will ultimately reveal itself in the currencies at some point. But I got, as I mentioned, 3 or 4 articles. I'll go through them and share my 2 cents. And also I'm working on another giveaway for the community. So definitely we're looking forward to presenting that to you guys. And also just trying to check the results on my side here for the 5-ounce giveaway. And so I will make that announcement either sometime before we finish this live stream or tomorrow. Just got to verify some things on my end here. But I appreciate everybody who participated in the giveaway. And once again, it's all designed to put some weight into the community directly. So hopefully you guys had fun participating in that. And as I said before, trying to work on more giveaways. So if you are a content creator or you have a unique skill or expertise that you want to share with the community, definitely reach out to me. We'd love to help connect you with the community. All right, so let me acknowledge a couple people, and then I'll do a little maintenance on my side. Then we'll jump into some headlines, and then you guys can let me know what's on your radar. And we got B-Rad checking in, Barlight Broker, Rich Mountains. We got Paul from Eugene. We got Unclear Robbie checking in. Uncle Robbie, I'm sorry. We got Mr. Roll Maker Life checking in as well. Appreciate you. What else we got? We got Evola Sunglasses, Lightning for Thee, My Views, W8 Farms checking in from Texas. Appreciate you. We got My Views from over on Chestnut in Detroit. What's up, my man? How you doing? All right, so lots of things going on. I was trying to figure out how to strategically either it's been a while since I've done an actual visual or graphic or visual way, just because at this current moment it's hard to really try to paint a picture that encompasses everything. But I'm trying to work on something where we could do something like a spin the wheel, and I'll put some categories of what I consider to be some of the more important things in reference to the monetary system, as well as geopolitical events and things like that, and just spin the wheel. And wherever it falls, we'll just jump into some articles from that. And so I've yet to put that together, but I figure that's the best way to approach getting into as many stories as possible during these short live streams here, just to cover as much news and to hopefully bring a lot of issues to people's attention, perhaps for the first time if you're coming across this information. But I've yet to do that, but I'm working on some things on my end. We have Andy Lee checking in from Indiana. Appreciate you. We got Ed checking in as well. All right, so before I jump into headlines, let me just do some maintenance on my side as always. If you happen to be coming across this channel for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button, as well as click that bell notification. Hopefully you are notified. Once again, no guarantees, but I do the best I can. And then also I encourage you to connect with RTD as well as your other favorite content creators on these platforms here, because I'm sure everybody who has a YouTube channel somehow, some way is connected on here. So that's a good way to stay tuned in to everybody, just in case we're disconnected here. And that's just a bare minimum of everything. But so as of right now, there are lots of articles or videos I've been watching, articles I've been watching, and the two most detailed and thoroughly laid out cases for why the global economy it's reaching a peak to where we're witnessing and experiencing something that basically mankind has never really experienced, just because just from one of the videos I watched earlier, the only point of reference we really have is the great financial crisis, which is small in comparison to what's brewing right now. And then well before that would have been other recession, other market corrections, going back to the Great Depression time frame. And then the prior administration pretty much gave us a good warning, saying that if this current president was to actually enter the White House, then we would experience something way far worse than the Great Depression. And so this definitely is on that scope. And so I have people giving it all types of names, the Greater Depression 2.0, whatever. And so there's a lot of great cases as for why we've already crossed the Rubicon. We're already well along the pathway towards the unraveling of the global monetary system, to the point where it's not just going to be a small rinky dinky, your local mom and pops. That was the great lockdown of 2020 that got that started. But what we're witnessing now is ultimately the unraveling of sovereign governments, especially geared around the fact that the dollar is single-handedly taking down nations, as capital flight from nations all around the world. People who have worked hard and saved up anything in their local currencies, they're getting out and they're going into the dollar just as a sheer protection mechanism. And that right there is a wrecking ball that's just swinging through countries globally and just tearing stuff up. And so I got an article here. I'm going to shine light on that, give you some stories and some cases of what people are actually experiencing on the streets, man, in different countries. It's real sad, just because the way I think about things, I put myself in their position at some point in the future when, all the typical safe haven assets, i.e. the fiat currency instruments, go belly up. And of course, with the dollar, I mean, it's inevitable that at some point we experience the same type of pain that those other nations are feeling. So, but yet we all know what's the best hedge against currency destruction. And depending on what country you're referring to gold and silver in, they're doing quite well, just not in USD terms as of now. But anyway, let me get into some headlines real quick, and then I'll open up the phone lines and definitely want to hear from you guys. And so I got all types of articles up here. Let me just start with this one right here, and then I'll work my way into it. And so here we have, I'll just go through 4 or 5 headlines. I'll highlight a couple of things just to get through it quickly. But if seesaw ride, equities market is going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, whatever. But as a lot of people know at this point, it's all about the debt. Keep your eye on the debt. And as of right now, bond prices is just going through the gutter. And it's just showing how it's more of a risk on asset these days, especially when it comes to retirement and pensions. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But just real quick here, this is as the market wrapped up today. It says Dow slips as rising Treasury yields weigh in. And just to give you an idea as to what that looks like, let me zoom in here and I'll read just some of the stuff I wrote highlight. It says, against persistent core inflation pressures, the Fed is on track to continue tightening at a faster pace than originally anticipated, Morgan Stanley said in a note, forecasting the Fed to hike rates 75 basis points in November, 50 basis points in December, and 25 in January. So that'll put us well closer to the high fives, or definitely to the mid fives, early fives. And what will be the actual breaking point to where something gives? We're witnessing that breaking point right now, just not in USD terms. And so to move on further, I think the most shocking part is just the current trajectory of the United States 10-year bond. And so I was looking at some visual aids here, just looking at how far we've come just within this year. And, I was watching Gregory Mannarino and his Mannarino index or whatever, and just, learning from my man Greg there. And as he mentioned, it's not the actual number, it's just the rate of change as to how is happening so fast that it's basically catching the world off guard in a sense. And I was looking at how the typical indicators of a recession are prevalent. Let me show you this here. Where is this at? No, let me go in deeper. Just to give you an idea, let me zoom in where we go. I was looking at the inverted yield curve. So for the US, we have the 2 and the 1, the 2 and the 10, and another one that just shows that we are well past the point of a typical recession, but the world still wants, the mainstream media rather, wants to lie to us and have us believe that the recession is sometime next year in the future. And of course, everything is always backdated, to say the least. But anyway, keep it moving. And so here's something as well. I didn't get a chance to dive too deep into it, but this came out as of 8:35. It said Fed's Evans said the Fed is facing a difficult messaging problem. So the forward guide, forward speak, whatever they do to try to prepare the markets for the change they're trying to create, is having a difficult messaging problem as it nears a decision to halt the pace of the rate increases. So not sure if this is just him preemptively speaking out of turn like they typically do, or is he trying to speak to the markets and tell them what's ahead? And so time will tell. But in the meantime, a lot of damage is being done. And just to show you about some of that damage that's being done, here's a primary story, the story that really caught my attention. And I put this on the Telegram. All these here I put on the Telegram. So if you guys want to make sure you get them during the day, subscribe to the Telegram, and you guys can get plugged in. But real quick, the average 401k is down 34,000 this year as markets struggle. And so I just scrolled through here, highlighted some things that caught my attention. I'll thumb through it real quick. But, basically two statisticians, in a sense, came up with some did some deep digging. And so it says the two poured through the data compiled by the financial services firm and found that since the start of this year, 401k plans have suffered more than $2 trillion in losses. It says the pair said that while the average 401k had more than 135,000 at the start of this year, those assets have since shrunk on average to $101,000. And so I personally have spoken with people who share some figures with me, and those numbers those numbers kind of add up a lot to what the average Joe out there is experiencing. And just a sheer decrease by approximately 25% or so was enough to cause some people that I know to react in a very cautionary way to make some adjustments, because they kind of got the feel that this is not going to get any better. And then so it says that is about a 25% decline. Scroll down some more. It says Antonio said that the Fidelity Investments in its second quarter report found that just in the first 2 quarters of this year, the average 401k balance has already fallen by 21%. It says in addition to the research on 401k plans, the duo also found that inflation has caused purchasing power to tumble since January of last year. So the researchers said that the average family in the United States has already lost nearly $6,000 in purchasing power. It says monthly savings has also fallen by a whopping 83%, according to research. And so this is just what's happening with the 401k realm. And we're all witnessing a lot of commentators talk about the 60-40 split. They're going to reverse that to make it the 40-60. And eventually it's going to be it's going to be up to you to figure out what's best for you at the end. But anyway, another article here. The U.S. pension plan faces a bigger crisis than the UK's. And so I would encourage people, if you're interested in reading in this is a much lengthier article here. I'm not going to run through all this, but ultimately the author was trying to say, he explained the whole pension crisis in the UK and how, due to the financial engineering that we talked about the other day and the creation of derivative products to try to make up the difference of what they couldn't do due to being in a negative interest environment, they gambled a lot. And so he basically got to the point where down at the bottom saying that the U.S. pension is a lot healthier. They don't have as many of those experimental types of products that the UK has. So it's not as bad. But then again, on our side, they're saying that it's a lot worse because it says here they're still promising 7% return on average for these pensions. and we're nowhere near that. And then they even mentioned that since then, the balanced portfolio of a 60% stocks and 40% treasury bonds has plunged by 18%. They said it'll take 22% investment return to recover from those losses. And of course, we're just basically at the beginning of this unraveling. And it says those relying on the 7% annual returns a year ago must be counting on much higher returns moving forward. And it says here, meanwhile, we aren't even getting into the number one crisis the U.S. defined benefit pension plans have, which involves the mother of them all, Social Security. So this already has a hole in this account's valued at $20 trillion, which will either require higher taxes or lower benefits or both. He says, in other words, even if the U.S. isn't facing the kind of immediate pension panic that has rocked the UK, our long-term pension crisis is much, much bigger. And so there'll be no escaping what's happening in the UK when it comes time to hear. And then on the last article I'll share with you guys and open the phone lines. Here is the wrecking ball, the dollar wrecking ball that I was talking about at the very beginning. So this is an article here says how the surging U.S. dollar is making it almost impossible to afford anything in countries around the world. And so here's, the cost of living in Cairo is going through the roof. Here's a little sad story here. And then we got an auto dealer in Nairobi having issues here. We got Manchester United, we got Istanbul. So these are a lot of stories that people are telling about how difficult it's becoming in their countries because just importing things into their country is costing them more in their own currency. It says here, a stronger dollar makes a bad situation worse in the rest of the world. So the dollar is up 18% this year and last month hit a 20-year high, according to benchmark U.S. dollar index. This measures the dollar against a basket of currencies. It says most of the currencies are much weaker by comparison, especially in poor countries. Then it talks about the Indian rupee down 10% against the dollar, Egyptian pound 20%, Turkish lira 28%. And it goes on and gives more explanation as to how a strong dollar hurts everybody else. And of course, this is all intentional to say the least. This is a part of the great day of reckoning that the Federal Reserve and other BIS, IMF, WEF are all trying to impose on the world so they can come out with their own solution at the end. But anyway, I can go on and on and on. But between the 401k meltdown, the pensions just blowing up, and of course the currencies, which will be the last of the sovereign debt issues, because of course currencies are the derivatives of the debt market that the countries issue that the central banks have to monetize, and of course they're going belly up. So it's like, okay, we all know the paper products, all the illusions of wealth, they're crumbling. So of course everybody in this community here know once you go back to the essence of what money is, to this day in every country's original founding documentation, to my knowledge, gold and silver is still labeled as legal tender instruments, and all the major central banks, but the major G7 countries for the most part, they all have a form of gold or silver coinage that they still mint. And so, as I always say before, constitutional money comes from the U.S. Mint, and debt comes from the Federal Reserve. So, having that clear distinction of fiat currency, lawful money, will serve you wonders in the days ahead. All right, but enough of me ranting. More stories we can touch on, but I'd rather hear from you guys directly. So feel free. Let's talk. Let's open up the phone lines. I'm curious to hear what's on your radar. We can talk about Russia imposing martial law on a recently annexed territories. We can talk about the CDC deciding to basically make it a national, I'm not saying mandate, but a national. They allowed the participation of those things for our children nationally, and of course, it's up to every state at this current moment to accept or reject it. Then, of course, we got, as prices is here, we have Kanye West or Ye or whatever he wants to be called, his whole little situation. And I recently saw, if I didn't get a chance to dive into it, but I think I heard something about Ye apologizing. So I'm not sure if this is a fresh apology given to who, I don't know. But anyway, that's something as well. So feel free to chime in on that and whatever else you guys want to touch on. Jay said the Rothschilds have a part in the Fed. They are pretty much the founding family. They are the founding family of every central bank around here. And so I did see him calling out George Soros. I did see that, but I think it's a more recent video. I think I was referring to as far as him apologizing. Okay, Rolf says China manufacturing is being sanctioned by the USA. Yeah, I did see something about that, and I'm not sure if that has everything to do with the whole chip issue, because I think that whole Chip Act has definitely put a dent in China's plans, but I haven't had a chance to dive too deep in it. Problem, reaction, solution. 100%. Anyway, phone lines are open. Give me a call. Let me know what's on your radar, or just throw out a subject matter in the chat, and we can just try to touch on a little bit. And also, I got more stories. I just got to go into the Telegram, but I can grab it. Judith says, putting those things in the children's list of required things gets them out of a liability for damages. What, right? And that's the primary reason. And just the fact they got pushed through 15-0. It was like there was not even one objection. Like the fact that all 15 people who voted, they had to be on a pharmaceutical take, because the fact that nobody put up one objection and went through unanimously, that that something wasn't right there. But are you surprised? No. Hello, Carlos. Where are we calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve, Pima Region 9.
Steve, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, buddy, out here in California, because I'm in CalPERS out here, you can't get any of these guys to believe that CalPERS is too big to fail. It's almost like wasting your breath talking to them. It's incredible that people think that nothing can happen to CalPERS, and I'm just looking at them. It's like I'm done talking to you.
Really? With all the underfunded issues and articles that come out from whenever, people still don't want to hear that, huh? People still don't want to hear the fact that majority of CalPERS is well underfunded. Of course, depending on what area you're in, but they're having major issues with that. People still don't want to hear that.
Yeah, correct. They think CalPERS is fine, and if something happens, that the government will bail them out.
Okay, and at some point you got to ask yourself, with all these bailouts and funds coming from wherever they come from, out the thin air, at what point would that then impact the actual purchasing power of what you're supposed to be getting in the future? Especially for the rest of your life, okay, I understand now, but think about next year, 10 years, but of course people tend to not think that far ahead, just because, there's nothing you can do about it anyway.
I just kind of shake my head, man. It's like beating your head against the wall, trying to talk to some of these people. But if you ask 10 people, you're probably not even going to get one to think that there's something wrong with CalPERS, etc. It's ridiculous. If anyway, got a data dump for you here.
Go ahead, give it to me.
Do you want me to? I sent these videos to you between yesterday and today.
Yep, I actually watched the what's it called, a Brickman. I actually watched that interview when I had that. I'm gonna put that on the screen right here. So I actually put this in the Telegram, but my man was dropping some nuggets for sure. So this was a great interview for sure. So I recommend the community go check that out.
All right. He had another one today. Did you get that one?
Which one? Made in America, or which one?
What was he on? Yeah, it's from today.
I saw it. So I think the Made in America one is today. That's the one I think I caught today, part 1.
Okay, sounds good. I dropped some other ones to you. You could probably just throw them in later after the show or something.
Okay.
Between yesterday and today, there's about 10 videos, man.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry to bother you.
Hey, no, it's all good. No, because I start off by saying, and I've watched a lot of videos. Of course, some of the ones you recommended, of course, on top of some other ones where it's like everybody's saying the same tune at this current moment, just basically brace for impact, because stuff is actually hitting the fan right now type of messages, where it's like, damn, like they're everywhere. So it's not hard to miss.
I know. Some of the videos, like I said, you can post them, or do you want me to resend them to you again?
Oh no, I'll just go through. I'll go through the email list and grab them. But I usually, once I see a name, I grab it, copy, paste, and just put it in there. So at the bare minimum.
Yeah, because because some of the ones that caught my attention were the billions of crabs that are disappearing from Alaska waters, etc. Sweden to legalize Sharia law.
I thought I was about to get a chance to go in deep. Let me go ahead and grab that one real quick. But no, give us the rundown on that one real quick. I saw it, but I didn't. Let me find that real quick.
I only got through part of it myself. So I'd probably just have the guys watch it and me try to. But apparently that's what they're going. That's what they're going to is Sweden to legalize Sharia law.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then here's another one that'll get your attention. The Boston University created a new
a new
COVID
a new killer,
a new COVID weapon.
Right, I saw that one.
80% kill rate.
Right. It's like, okay, why would they? And that's the thing, like, if that is true, why would you publicize that? Like, why would you admit that you were tinkering around with something to make it more potent than what it already was supposed to be? Like, how does that, like, just how do you work on something like that? And what is it for? Like, and what a coincidence is going to happen to just leak out? You know what I'm saying? Type of thing. Like, some things just sounds, man, just, damn, they're just trying to scare you any way they can. It's like, wow, like, why would you just keep that to yourself, man? That's definitely should be illegal. You're creating something that can kill the whole earth, type of thing. That should be, a problem.
Correct, and I'm surprised that everybody in the U.S. should be pissed about that. Mm-hmm. But I'm surprised that the locals aren't getting in an uproar about that. They're involved.
Unfortunately, most people aren't really paying attention, so they don't really care. They probably got enough issues of their own. So, and that's why with so many problems piling up in different areas of people's lives, at some point, you just let fly because it's like, man, what the hell? I can't. That's just one to add to the pile, so I'll let that go.
Correct. and then one of the last ones was China and these illegal or unofficial police departments that are opening up in all these different countries.
Yeah.
I think the program is called 110. China's 110 overseas program. That's what it's. That's what it's called. But anyway, all of those. So I was like, man, I don't want to dump all of these.
No. So I saw them, and some of them I already saw, and because I usually people send stuff as well, so I usually grab it as best I can. So I get a lot of duplicates. So some of the ones you're talking about, I did post them just because I came across them myself. So, but hey, man, as always, you keep us up to date. Appreciate you,
bro. God bless.
Be good, my friend.
Later.
It's Barber says Mike rarely mentions sports. Just because other than, basketball, I really don't pay attention to anything else. And on top of this, I'm like, sports, entertainment is one of the biggest distractions that keep the world, basically asleep at the wheel. So I don't really talk about it too much. Even though I think my Pistons did win tonight, so that's something worthwhile. Let me see here. I see something about Kitco has been pushing crypto for a while now. I haven't checked their price, but compare them to this, whatever. I've noticed like Kitco News and what's the other Stansberry Research and a couple other those bigger YouTube channels that have the interviews and guests or whatever. A lot of them going full blown crypto on top of that. But you go wherever the business is at, you go wherever the buzz is at, and so I'm not surprised at all. For sure, appreciate you, TB. If you have not, hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel, and it's open mic, so feel free to give me a call. Subject matters, whatever you want to touch on. Iverson retired. Bread and circus, 100%, 100%. So for those who might just came in late, what I started off talking about, or the two primary subjects that I was just reading through, happened to be the 401k at this current moment, as of this year, across the board on average, down 25%. And of course, that leads into the whole 60-40 shakeup that financial advisors are trying to, I guess, work around now. And then I talked about another article here, went through a little bit, talking about the pension crisis in the U.S. and how it's a much, much bigger crisis waiting to unfold because the returns of 7% on average, they haven't been there for quite some time. And so U.S. pension funds have had to do a lot more riskier adjustments by getting involved in all types of products that are pretty much not, too profitable right now either. So they even put real estate in there and all types of other stuff up in there. So once again, UK is going to eventually, that type of event is going to spread everywhere. What will EM do to crypto? What will an EMP do to crypto? EMP to do with crypto, basically computer-wide, internet-wide. It's going to be some major hiccups that people will have to deal with. And so ultimately the ledgers themselves will still be up and running more than likely at some point on the planet. So it won't just evaporate completely, but you won't be able to transact more likely. Hello, Carlos. Where are we calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's Paul from Eugene.
Paul, what's going on, my friend?
In Oregon.
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, not much. And it's been crazy over here. The last few years we've been getting these fires, and this year, because we haven't had the rain, it's still smoky every morning. I wake up here and the hills are all smoky. You can smell the smoke in the air.
Really?
Yeah, it's strange. Usually Eugene, because it's so wet here, that it goes away by now.
Yeah.
About 3 years ago, it was dropping ash on all the cars. I had to clean off the old lady's neighbor's car just so she could get out of the driveway.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like as heavy as it was, but it's going way late into the year. I think we're going to get some rain soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll go away, but yeah, it's crazy. Crazy smoke in the air. It's like apocalyptic over here sometimes. And then the election stuff too. Every commercial, we got these really weird politicians here. These Tina Kotex, and she's gonna maybe replace Kate Brown. I think if that's how it works. And they're both similar looking style people.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really weird. And we got this Alex Salada. He's the whole other end of the spectrum, type dude that's going up against. I don't know. It's crazy politics here. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say every state has their, so especially here in Michigan, we have Tudor and Whitmer for governor, and as of right now, it's amazing how we're being bombarded here in Michigan as well with all types of. They're keeping it simple, either pro-life or pro-choice. I mean, that's the primary focal point now. And everything beneath that is quite clear cut that Tudor is more conservative with hers and Whitmer is far left with hers. But it's at this current moment, it's they both seem to be they're plants to cause division. All of a sudden now we got people who love, being conservative and want to fight for the people. Where they been all along? How do we get this far along without there being more of a fight until now? Why right now? And that's why I know all these cats are probably plants, man. Anyway, that's me.
Seems like a stage, yeah. It really seems like nothing organic about it. It's
right.
All actors and props, and yeah, it's really strange.
So hey,
I don't remember it being like that, but maybe I'm just paying attention now.
Right. What better way to divide us, man? Literally, because if somebody on the extreme right wins, then also everybody on the left gonna be pissed, and if somebody on the left wins, people. So it's never a common ground. It's either this or that, and that's how this whole thing is orchestrated, man. So, but yeah, we should be used to by now.
Everywhere, not just. Yeah, it's happening everywhere, but yeah, it's really weird here.
Hey, keep us posted,
yeah,
man.
Mike, well, let me get off, but great job. Love the show.
Good to hear from you, man. Thanks for calling.
Yep. God bless.
You too. Yeah. It's more of the same. All right, what's we got out here? Party plans. Let me see what else we got here. So it looks like must not be too much on people's radar these days because I don't see too many topics out there. Kamala, oh my goodness, Kamala Harris, boy, it seems like every time she speak, man, I would assume you guys have been seeing some of her short clips from her speeches. She says things and she's just adding words on top of words and going in a damn circle, not making no type of sense. It's just, I'm thinking it just make, man, I'm gonna leave it alone. I ain't gonna talk about it like that. Hello, Carlos, where you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. How you doing,
TB,
brother?
I'm doing good, my friend. What's up with you?
Nothing much, man. You talking about my girl Kamala?
Man. But I can't help myself but laugh every time I see one of those little 30-second clips of her saying the same thing in circles.
I know, it's pretty funny. Hey, on the pension plans, from what I gather is that our pension plan is different. The way we set our pension plans up is different than the way that Europe sets theirs up.
Yeah.
With ours, it's a 401k that you basically pay into and pay for. Whereas over there, you get a job and you work a job, and that money is guaranteed to you when you retire.
Yeah.
Don't contribute to that. It's guaranteed to you when you retire.
Yeah.
So, the U.S. bailout would seem appropriate. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, you keep saying that they got this thing all planned out. I was wondering, how do you figure that they've got it all planned out? What is your vision of it going forward from at this point?
Well, I think that with the central banks deliberately attempting to, tighten, as they've labeled it, in unison, lets us know that they have orchestrated a method in which they want to, I guess, dry up some of the liquidity or create desperation in the markets. Now, as far as how it plays out, I don't know, but I'd assume that with the whole World Economic Forum's vision for our future, and to have governments and the private sector all partnering in on that vision, then they have some type of game plan that they're trying to flow with. Like how it plays out, I don't know. But we do know that IMF wants that interoperable CBDC style approach for currency. We do know that they said that you'll own nothing and be happy with it. So ownership rights, like the whole ESG movement, which is getting resistance right now, is a part of their plan as well. So you put all those together, that's just a little blueprint of the steps that they're taking. Now, whether it plays out, I don't know. Hopefully not. But I think it has to do with just the restructuring of the monetary system in ways in a new form and fashion, primarily surrounded around digital stuff. That's just my guess.
Right. We're already digital, though.
Oh, always digital. But we don't have that solely digital where you have to have permission via your credit score system and all the other things on top of that. So I think that is the end. That's the end game.
Did you get the articles I sent you where they said that there's no way that it can be a universal currency? Even the IMF said that.
Now, do you believe them?
What else do I have to believe?
I mean, I just think like they'll sell us on anything just to make it look as if things aren't working. Similar to how the whole Federal Reserve aspect was sold, 100 plus years ago, where they made it think like, by creating these 12 different branches around the country, that really diversifies things. So it makes it so there's no single point of, how they try to, basically make it like it's impossible. Then all of a sudden, miraculously, like the SWIFT, like all of a sudden now, interoperable CBDCs, it is possible. We just came up with it last week. Oh really? Like, come on now. Like, I don't believe that. But they'll lie to us to get us think that everything is all hunky-dory. And then all of a sudden, when stuff hits the fan, we've now have this new way of putting, some currency in your wallet. Download this and into your ID score. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the part of their plan. We're working with a very dark, demonic force here, my friend.
Oh, no. You got to listen to the Fed when they talk. They don't talk monetary. They talk expectations. That is totally different.
Yeah.
And the Fed, when they do things, they lead from behind. And I mentioned this before, and we really need to take a strong look at how the Fed is leading from behind. That's not leading forward that you say, okay, well, they're doing this just because they got something else planned. No, they're dumb as AF.
Okay, watch this. So overall,
how are you and I able to figure out what's going to happen next, and they can't figure it out?
But once again, do you actually believe Jerome Powell when he gets up in front of his constituents, like Christine Lagarde and all of them say, like, yeah, I don't really think the U.S. needs a digital dollar right now. I don't think we need to go that route. Do you actually believe that? I don't. You know what I'm saying? I think they already got it ready to roll out.
No, you didn't catch me offside. I mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. They cannot do a CBDC in the United States. It has to be approved through Congress.
Right.
But as long as there's
what's really preventing them from doing that, other than some type of major cataclysmic event that Congress definitely, who already bought and paid for, would vouch for? Elizabeth Warren ready to sign the damn bill right now. She could. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. You cut me off before I got to say what I want to say. The punchline is, how much money is Nancy Pelosi and her husband making off this high dollar?
Oh, they're making a killing. They get the front run everything.
Why would you cut your throat if you're making a killing?
But they're gonna make a killing in the next system too. I'm saying that's gonna be available to them as well. They're not gonna cut it. They're not cutting their own funds off. They're gonna be good because they get first-hand information on all things. So CBDC or dollar, they're gonna get their first dibs.
Okay, so let me go down this line.
Okay.
So I'm making money. I'm making tons of money now.
Correct.
But I want to start a new system that hasn't been involved yet that we're testing in order to make more money. That don't sound right. If I'm making money, I'm going to make money till the wheels fall off.
But then again, when they reinvent the wheel, you still got a bank account at Wells Fargo or Goldman Sachs or whoever you're banking with, and you can call up Jamie Dimon any moment you need to say, hey, I need a, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you know the bankers, you know the overall agenda. You are going to be on somebody's board if you get booted out of Congress anyway. So it's like you don't have nothing to lose if you're in on the game. So I don't think they really shooting themselves in the foot by just switching different types of currencies at the end of the day, in my opinion. So they're still going to be.
Of course they are. That's like Mike, who's got 36,000 subscribers, say, "Oh, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try a religious channel, and have it going, and then all of a sudden expect your 36,000 followers to go with you. That don't happen."
Right. I'm gonna I would lose some, but then again, I'll probably stand a chance of gaining. I'll probably be able to make that up at some point if the content's good enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little give and take. It's a give and take with that. It's give and take with that. You gotta lose something to gain some.
You tried that, Mike. What happened? Where's that channel at?
What? Oh, the Giftpreneurs?
The religious channel.
That it's not. Oh no, it's not. I wouldn't say necessarily religious, but it's still there. It's just the content creation for that. It's more challenging now, just because my primary focus is on this. I was trying to work in that on top of other stuff, and I just I spread myself thin.
You're only proving my point, though. You're only proving my point when you say that.
What's that?
They don't have a clue. The Fed doesn't have a clue. First of all, let's just go with it for what it is. Because if they had a clue, we wouldn't have had 2000. We wouldn't have had 2008. We wouldn't have had 2018. We definitely wouldn't have had 2020 if they knew what was going on.
But our system is debt in and of itself, and if it doesn't continue to inflate, it implodes on itself. So the crises are inevitable. Like right now, by them calling themselves tightening or not easing the way they want to, they're sucking out liquidity. They're causing a problem. Like I'm assuming they would have to know that would happen because they're doing it in unison together. So I don't think they're like all of a sudden experiment with this. Like they're working a plan of some kind. Hopefully it fails, but they're working a strategy in their own mind.
But what they're doing is a 3-card money and not even talking about the money they got behind their back. You looking at our money, and you ain't even looking at the money that they holding on to behind their back. The banks are the ones that issue the funds. The banks are the ones that make money. How much have the banks have been loaning out money? You looked at the charts; they aren't loaning out anything.
Right.
They shut their doors. They don't need your money. Right. You know why? Because the Federal Reserve put the money in the bank for them.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole reverse repo crap.
They did. The repo crap. The repo crap is the Fed paying the banks for money. We have a liquidity crisis that we can't get money into the system and enough of it. Right. So therefore, it's bleeding other countries out because they have to use collateral in order to get money. Right. And once you use all the collateral, all you got is 2 rocks and a sock in order to I need some US dollars. Right. And banks are like, I ain't giving you money for rocks and socks.
Hey man, appreciate you as always.
Mike, keep your head up, brother.
We'll do, my friend.
Right, bye.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, people. What else we got here? I see some ISO 20022 out there as well. A lot of people are excited about those particular blockchain projects, which are programmable altogether. I think it's gonna be a major surprise coming. At some point, Swift changed their Twitter page header to Ripple's. Their new mission statement is full of key XRP keywords. Yeah, I think people are going to be surprised for that. Hopefully, it works out for everybody. Is it Trump the Messiah? All right, what else we got out here? Do you what is persistence over resistance? Yes, I've dived into it, and ultimately, it's a payment network that is messaging system that's pretty much being rolled out right now as we speak. All the nations will be linked up to it. And I think a major part of what even looking at the Swift's website in reference to it, I haven't actually seen a lot of those XRP, Quant, whatever it is, and Stellar and all those. So other than a lot of alternative media people talking about those, I haven't actually seen that myself on the Swift website. So I'm not saying it's not true or not, but once again, they're public companies working in cahoots with the World Economic Forum. So, Klaus Schwab is, he's vouched for those programs. What else? Mid-September. And I think it'll ultimately, of course, be brought into the Fed now, and all that stuff is interconnected. So to me, it sounds like a game plan. It sounds like a plan that is in place. And ultimately, I think that the biggest thing is people really believe that they're going to benefit off of these projects without any hindrance or hiccups. And to me, it just sounds like everything based upon the solutions that are being given to the world happen to be right in step with what we were told to get ready for. And so it's get ready for a world currency as all the fiats are burning. What a coincidence that the SWIFT is now talking about they're able to have the CBDCs interoperable. Like what better method or payment railway would that be to lead us towards a world currency? So I don't think none of this technology is being pushed forward in this particular time and space by accident. I think it's all a part of the plan that was put in motion well before now. And what better way to execute a plan other than to bring people along with you to excite them, make them feel like they are contributing to that, and basically fund it for you. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody who holding on to a lot of those projects, those coins in their projects, you've helped fund the ISO 20022 movement. So they're getting funds from the community. So you're a stakeholder in a sense. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Hopefully I am. Let's get some more calls in here. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's Dennis from Yashkaba, Mexico. How are you?
Dennis, I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind?
Well, I mean, currency, this is all about control.
Mm-hmm.
And these incidents are all planned.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
So, yeah, they have everything planned. You're absolutely correct. Is the plan going to go the way that they expect? Probably not. But the people are going to be so desperate, they're going to use whatever means they are given to obtain staples.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I agree, man. No pushback there.
It's just a question of when does the big incident happen and what are they going to create? It's the black swan. You can say it's going to be the dead. It's going to be a fake war. It's going to be whatever. But it's probably not going to be any of those. It's going to be something we don't see because that's the definition of a black swan.
Right. Very true. And it's interesting how right now a lot of people are expecting something in the next couple of weeks, next couple of weeks, next couple of weeks. This is going to happen right after midterms or right before midterms. Everybody's projecting the next, couple of weeks is going to be that time frame for something, which it could be. But right now we're in the midst of a reset. So just look at all the implosion of the currencies and debts happening around the world. So we're in a reset right now. It just hasn't gone full blast just yet. But anyway.
Well, I got off the phone. I was talking with my uncle. He served in Korea, and he's selling his assets and he's in paper assets, and he's purchasing money, which is gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very happy to hear that. I hope more people do that.
Yeah.
To get back at the banksters, I mean, they are going to rob Johnny and Jane common folk just like they always do.
Right.
But this time it's not recoverable. It's not like, 2008, and then the economy gets kind of rolling back in 2013, chugs along, and the inflation makes people feel, happy.
Right.
Happy days. Well, the happy days, once the happy days are over, this next time is going to be really bad. I mean, the stock market, 1936, I don't think it went back up to its original level until like 1946.
Right. It was definitely more than a decade. It took a decade damn near. And so I'm anticipating something a lot worse than that because it's going to be a global contagion. And most of the stuff we're experiencing now we don't even know, how bad it can be because we in the quadrillions with derivatives and everything else. So, yeah, that stuff has to be reckoned with at some point.
Yes. One thing that you shared on the Telegram that I thought was great was the Colombian currency.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I was talking to my uncle about, saying, hey, you look at what gold is selling for in these other currencies, it's selling at near record prices in about 120 different currencies.
Right. Yeah, that is a good point there. Just not in the USD just yet.
All right, my friend. Well, good night.
Appreciate you, my man.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Be good. All right, so here's a little article that I put up. Colombian peso surpasses 4,800 to the US dollar. And so I found this, and then immediately after, their new president, who was just put into office, he put out a tweet saying, let me see, I'll share this with you. Let me share this with you real quick. Let me grab this here. I got all types of articles here. And so that came out, and then a follow-up was this. Let me share this with you real quick here. So this was a follow-up to that. It says, Colombian President Petro urges people not to take money out of Colombia en masse. And so, capital flight, people getting their remaining purchasing power out of their local currency. And then I shared a graph right here. Let me copy this one here just to show you the insurance plan for the Colombian peso that appears to be responding quite favorably. Let me share this with you here. So this is the Colombian peso as of right now. So it's trending upward. And so it's just an indicator as to how fiat fails when measured against something stable, true, and intrinsically sound. All right, what else we got here? Expect U.S. to do something to control Venezuela. That is definitely always on the table. Noriega. Yeah, I did see when Noriega said that, we had to listen to the powers that be or something like that. I'm like, huh? Like, so the fact that somebody gave him a call expressing their displeasure and him allowing Kanye to go off on rants, and of course they removed it and he apologized. So not too surprising. Kanye is on to something. But one area Kanye will not touch, I'm more than confident he will not go down the pathway of talking about the treatment of children in Hollywood and things of that nature. I doubt Kanye go down that pathway. So, but anyway, we'll see. All right, we're about 52-minute mark. I missed a couple calls. Forgive me. Let's pick up tomorrow. I want to definitely try to keep them under an hour best I can. And so as always, I appreciate everybody for blessing me with your time. And I love to hear the back and forth. That's how we encourage and learn from one another. But yet, based upon all the information shared, it just proves more and more how things are unraveling at a faster pace. There's too much contagion going on right now. We are experiencing what I consider to be a globally systemically important event. And it will result in fiat currencies becoming the primary problem, as they always have been. They will return to their intrinsic value at some point. And that's why it's always good to have a little something on the side, just in case. So this thing right here says $1, even though it cost me $35, $36. So I'm always going to have $1 in possession, no matter what, no matter what the spot price is, even though the premiums one I think is 100% right now. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. Be blessed, be safe. Back at it tomorrow. Stay prayed up, get your weight up, and of course, do everything in between. Continue to love on your brothers and sisters, and just to help people out wherever you can find them at. Be of good, be of support to other people. Because right now, a lot of people are in need of help in some capacity. Some of these areas we're talking about here impacts your family and friends. They're going to need some advice and wisdom from somebody. And if you're plugged in and in tune with what's going on, you're that person that can give it to them. So love on them with the love of the Lord. All right, people, be blessed, be safe. I will see you guys later. Peace. Here's a great opportunity for you to get your weight up. Let's face it, our purchasing power and our currency has been destroyed in real time. That's why I'm excited to tell you about my partnership with Bullion Max. Bullion Max will ship gold and silver directly to your door for you to hold at your home or in your own safe. To help you get started, I worked out a special offer with them. Get Bullion Max Silver Starter Kit at employee pricing. Just go to bullionmax.com/RTD. This kit includes 5 of the most desirable silver products to invest in, including the American Silver Eagle and the Silver Australian Kangaroo. This offer is limited to 1 per household while supplies last, so get yours today and take advantage of this opportunity to get your weight up. Now, you can't just stop at getting your weight up. You also got to get your calories up, because definitely a food shortage is underway between droughts, flooding, and all the climate issues being thrown our way. America's food supply is near its breaking point. That's why survival food is more important than ever. Create your own stockpile of the best-selling 4 Patriot survival food kits. It's not ordinary food. We're talking about 25 years super survival food, hand-packed right in the family-owned facility in the USA. The kits are compact, sturdy, water-resistant. They have different delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. Go to 4patriots.com/RTD to get your 3-month survival kit. You'll get their famous guarantee for an entire year after your order, plus 10 free gifts and free shipping. To take advantage of this opportunity, go to 4patriots.com/RTD to build your own stockpile today, because beyond the weight, you're going to need your calories as well. Links in the description.